Hello everyone and welcome back to my channel, and thank you so much for tuning in with me today. Now in today's video I wanted to do a shop my stash style video and create a refreshing spring look for you guys. So I basically went through my entire makeup collection and I thought to myself, what are the products that I use like off camera, that I'm using in my everyday life, that I constantly reach for? And I really wanted to feature them in today's video. Now, some of these products you may know by now, some of them are definitely holy grails, and others I've never featured for some reason or the other. Now, rest assured, there are plenty of other makeup products that I, of course, love so much. But for today, I just thought, what am I at the moment sort of reaching for? Most of the products in today's video are definitely not brand new products. They have been in my collection for a hot minute. I really feel like that we sometimes get so hung up on all of these brand new releases that we tend to forget the really good products that we might have purchased like months ago. And just because they are not new does not mean that they are not good. Please do drop me a comment down below if you see any of the products that I'm using in today's video that you may have yourself, and if you do share the same opinion on them as I do, or let me know what you guys are actually using for your springtime makeup. That would be really intriguing to me. And also, in case you do enjoy today's video, in case you want me to do more shop my stash style videos, please don't forget to give this video a like. Also hit the subscribe button and ring the bell in order to stay notified about my upcoming videos. You guys know that is always very much appreciated. But alright, I don't want to hold you up with too long of an intro, so I would say let's just go barefaced and let's kick it off with the very first product. Okay, so I'm barefaced and I would say let's actually kick it off with a primer. Now you guys may know how much I do love my blurring primers. And I think you might have wondered if I do have a favorite blurring primer. I definitely do. The only thing is I really held off on talking about it because I was not sure about this brand's future. The brand that I'm going to be talking about basically got acquired around a year ago, and they have not carried this primer for a hot minute now. So I was lucky enough that I actually picked up a backup primer because I had emptied mine. And now it's not available anymore. But I actually contacted the brand because they did put something up on their Instagram that they would be restocking some of their products by late spring. And they actually replied to me and said that this primer would make a comeback. So just rest assured that according to the brand, this primer is gonna be back in stock by late spring. And honestly, I cannot wait to share this primer with you guys because it is just the best blurring primer I've ever tried, and thankfully it's gonna come back. So this is the Cover FX blurring primer, and this retails for $38. I mean, I've emptied an entire one, and I was lucky enough that I actually picked up a backup in time before this was sold out for good. If you do check the Cover FX website at this point in time, this is nowhere to be found. So I'm really hopeful it's gonna be back. And once this is back, I'm gonna definitely purchase more of them because this is so good. I'm going through this like crazy. Overall, I really do feel like Cover FX is really like making amazing products. And this one, it's just the best. I mean, it's so good. I really tried hard to find a replacement for this one, but it's nearly impossible, okay? I still feel like this is the best blurring primer I've ever tried out. So I'm gonna clip back my hair. So on the back of this, it does say a weightless silky balm that blurs the appearance of pores and fine lines, creates an ultra smooth canvas for flawless makeup application. Of course, this is vegan, it's cruelty free. It's free of parabens, gluten, mineral oil, fragrance, talc, sulfates, and phthalates. The only thing is that the texture of this product is a little bit weird. It's described as a weightless silky balm. It's almost like a whipped consistency, and it's not like your traditional balm really. It just looks very bizarre when you get some product out. I mean, it's just so strange how this is looking. The texture of this and the consistency is very bizarre. However, the result that you can achieve with this is phenomenal. So I would say let's apply it on one side of my face right here, and I'll show you what I mean. It's just a little bit of a weird consistency, to be honest. It looks like sand almost, like wet sand. But once it's on the skin, once you like blend it out, it's really nice. It's, as described, really weightless and it feels very silky. But just look at this effect. Like, I feel like my pores here are gone. This is so blurring. And another thing is it's also mattifying at the same time without drying out your skin, which I truly appreciate. So my skin was a little bit shinier from the skincare that I was using prior to filming. But just looking at this side of my face right now, it's all cancelled out. Like the shine is gone, it's mattified, it's blurred. I mean, it's a huge, huge difference if you compare both sides. So that's why I just love this primer so much. I think it's like the best one when it comes to giving you this soft, focused finish. So I'm gonna actually put this on the other side of my face as well. This is exactly the result that I kind of want to achieve when I'm using a primer. So let's actually move on to the foundation for today. And for the foundation, let's actually stay a little bit with Cover FX. Now, again, you know, this is one of my top-notch, holy grail foundations. I've never talked about it because I was not sure what was going on with Cover FX and if you guys would be interested. So, you know, I thought today is the perfect day to actually finally show you guys one of my all-time favorite foundations. So this is the Cover FX Power Play Foundation and this retails for $44. This product is currently also still available on their website, so this is not out of stock or anything. This is still available and this foundation does exist in 40 different shades. And the very first time I've tried this, I think it was late 2020, somewhere around that time period. And ever since, I have been loving this foundation. However, I did pick up a couple of shade mismatches initially because usually I'm a neutral, leaning cool undertone. And I decided in the beginning to pick up one of their neutral undertones. So I'm going to show you swatches of all the shades that I've got. So initially I did pick up the shade N35. That one is a light to medium with neutral undertones. So usually that's really what I am. I'm a light to medium with neutral undertones. However, this was very, very light on me. So just keep that in mind that their shade range kind of leans a little bit light. And the undertone, the neutral one, I've got to be honest, this leans kind of yellowish. So I don't really like that because I have more of like a neutral leaning cool undertone and this was quite yellow on my skin. However, I just picked up, you know, N40 assuming that it wouldn't be as yellow as the other one and this is a medium with neutral undertones. However, I still was not satisfied with this undertone. And then I really was dreading to pick up like a pink undertone because I thought maybe that's going to be too pink. So anyway, I did pick up the shade P40, which is a medium with pink undertones. And let me tell you, this is perfect. This is the perfect shade match and it's just like spot on. I love this shade, so this is my correct shade. I don't think this is very pink. So if you're looking for a foundation that has like a lot of pink in it, maybe this one is not it. But this foundation is fulfilling all of my criteria when it comes to me assessing a foundation. Like this hits all of the marks. So let's have a look at what they are claiming about this foundation. So on the website, they are saying that this is a full coverage foundation that lets your skin look like skin. So full coverage, it's buildable, okay? So on the very first layer, you're gonna get a medium to full sort of coverage, but you can definitely build this one up to a full coverage. That's definitely true. This really does have like a natural skin-like finish, so that claim is also accurate. And then our weightless breathable formula provides waterproof, sweat-proof, and transfer-proof coverage. Spot on. Like this wears so well. It's super highly performing. Like I feel like at the end of my day, this one does not break up on me. It does not get like oily or shiny or anything. It just still looks really amazing. Suitable for all skin types and a natural matte finish. It's not matte in a way that it would be like cakey or it would like dry out your skin. I feel like it's a very natural sort of almost satin finish. Like I feel like this is more of like a lightweight, like runny sort of texture without being too runny. It's still kind of creamy. So it still has a body, but it's completely weightless on your skin. Like I can never feel this foundation sitting around on my skin. And also it's almost like a self-setting foundation, but the good thing is you can still build this one up. So you can put like a couple of layers on top of your first layer without interrupting the very first one underneath it. So, you know, it's not doing anything weird, it's not drying too quickly. So this one is not a glass bottle. It feels like plastic, to be honest with you. It also comes with one of these squeeze nozzles. So I just find it always hard to tell you guys how much product I'm using, because I can't tell you I used like 2 pumps or something. Like I literally have to squeeze it out. So I'm gonna do my best to show you guys like how much I'm using on my finger. I also feel like if you want to build this up to a full coverage, you definitely need a little bit more product. This contains 35 milliliters, so 1.18 fluid ounces, so just 5 milliliters more than your normal foundation would. So my very favorite way of actually applying this foundation is with a dampened sponge. Now you could also use this with a brush, but for some reason I really feel like the blend is a little bit easier, and also the result is a little bit smoother if I use a dampened sponge. So I'm going to squeeze out a little bit on my finger, and then I'm going to apply it on one side of my face so you guys can see what one thin layer of this product can actually do. I still feel like it's giving me like more of like a medium to full coverage, not a full coverage straight away, but we are going to build this one up. So if I squeeze out this amount of product, you can see it is going to run down my finger, but you know, it's not over the top liquidy. It still has a little bit of body to it and definitely kind of like a creaminess. And I'm just gonna blend it out with my sponge. So you can see it's giving me such a beautiful sort of finish, a good decent amount of coverage straight away, not over the top. I feel like I can still see a little bit of some discoloration around here, but you know, it's very minor. But what I really do enjoy about this foundation is definitely the finish. This looks like my skin, it does not look like makeup. And it's just so lightweight on my skin, like I can't feel this foundation whatsoever. And that's why I love reaching for this on an everyday basis. Like I really use this foundation quite a lot, and I'm so happy I finally got like the shade P40, because honestly, I feel like this is quite a perfect match. So I'm gonna do the other side of my face now. I'm kind of using this amount of product, so almost like the same, I would say, amount that I used on the other side. You guys, with one layer you can achieve this sort of coverage level. I still feel like that this finish is not completely like a flat matte or like a drying matte. I still feel like it does have a little bit of like a very, very subtle, maybe like a 10% sort of radiance to it. Let's just build it up slightly, you know, not that I need it, but I just want to show you that you can actually build this one up. So I took another sort of squeeze out of this. I mean, I love this foundation. There are no words like other than like really loving this to explain what I'm feeling about this foundation. It's definitely one of these foundations that I don't want to be without anymore. I mean, it's not a brand new release. This has been on the market for a hot minute. But, you know, I don't really hear many people still talking about this. And I feel like it definitely does deserve that, though. Because just look at that. Look at that finish. Look at how my skin looks like. I mean, it's beautiful. This does not accentuate any, like, fine lines. It does not settle into them. It just has the most beautiful skin-like finish. So if you would use like a more like a glowing sort of primer underneath it, I feel like you could make this foundation a little bit more luminous if this is not luminous enough for you. But for me, it's perfect. I honestly love this, and It's one of my all-time favorite foundations in the entire world, and I never ever want to be without this one. So although I don't really need to conceal anything on my face anymore because the foundation has done such a great job, I do want to apply a concealer on my under eye, and you guys may know which one I'm gonna use. I bet you guys are sick and tired of me talking about this one, but I just love it and I kind of want to use it today. So it's no other than the Lawless Conceal the Deal Concealer, and this retails for $26. So I could rave about this concealer non-stop because it's just one of the most beautiful concealers I've ever tried, especially for my under eye, because it does not crease, it does stay put, it's long wearing, it's so beautiful. It's such a beautiful formula in general. And guess what? I've emptied mine completely. I'm not sure if you can see, but there is nothing left in here, like no product. So I got myself a backup. Here is the backup, so I'm gonna use this one today. I'm gonna open up a fresh one for the video. I mean, I would have opened it up anyway. Every time I am wearing this foundation in particular, I don't really need to conceal any spots because obviously everything is gone. All of the redness is gone, so I don't really need a concealer apart from my under eye, and this one is just perfect for my under eye. So this concealer also comes in 20 different shades. The shade that matches me the best is the shade Ballette. It has a little bit of peachiness to it, but not too much. It's so beautiful. Like the way this just glides on, it's amazing, okay? And I really just love this for my under eye in particular. Such a nice creamy formula, and the way I like to blend this out is also with a sponge. Like I do have a couple of other concealers that I love for my under eye, but I don't think anything can beat this. Also because it's just so long wearing. It is just beautiful. It's so easy to use and I just love it. I really do enjoy this one. Okay, so my concealer is on, so let's actually move on to a setting powder. So the setting powder that I tend to use specifically when I'm wearing this foundation is no other than the Kosas Cloud Set setting powder, and this retails for $35. The reason why I'm using this specifically with this foundation is because this foundation is not too dewy, it's not too luminous. Like I don't really need to mattify my skin too much with a powder, and I feel like this one, it's not over the top mattifying. It just has this beautiful sort of blurring quality, and it's really, really nice. This also does come in 10 different shades. I have this in the shade Breezy, and that is described as a sheer light shade. Now you can see this usually has a dome. My dome is completely flattened by now because I tend to reach for this every time I'm wearing this foundation, and that happens quite a lot. I've got to be honest, in the beginning I wasn't the biggest fan of this, but I really came to appreciate it the more I used this. And I really just had to find some foundations that this one would work a little bit better with. Now, it also does work with a little bit more radiant, dewy foundations, but if I use a foundation that has some oil in it, for example, I do feel like I need to retouch my skin a lot more. With this foundation, I really don't have to do that. It also works quite well with my Lawless concealer for my under eye. So I'm gonna set my face just on one side so I can show you the difference what this is doing. It's actually really stunning because it's also a little bit blurring. Not that I really need that at the moment, but I just love it, using it in combination with all of these base products. So I just put a little bit on this side of my face. Now I feel like it looks so nice, you know. I mean, there's probably not a big difference, just a little bit of a difference. I mean, it's a little bit more blurred. It's put into place, like it's set, you know, the foundation is actually set. So let's actually apply it to the other side of my face as well. So my base is applied, so let's actually move on to some color complexion products, and let's kick it off with a bronzer that I really love. And this is the Saint Cosmetics bronzing powder, and this retails for $40. It really does feel like ages since I've mentioned this product in particular. I still have their old packaging here. This is so old. Right now, if you look on their website or if you purchase anything from Saint, you are gonna get their revamped packaging, which is this beautiful packaging. I kind of prefer this packaging, to be honest with you, but I still have this old packaging, and back in the day this bronzer was called On Cloud 9 Bronzer. And nowadays they actually have this product in two different finishes. They have it in a matte finish and in a satin finish. Now I do assume that the one that I have is actually their matte finish. Don't quote me on it, I don't know, because they have like literally kind of like changed this product into different finishes. Back in the day this was only available in this particular finish. But oh my gosh, I still love this product so much. And this is actually a bronzer that I reach for quite a lot. It's so stunning. Like the undertone works so well with my skin tone. It's almost like more of a neutral leaning bronzer. It's not too peachy. It's not too orange leaning. It just has this unbelievably beautiful sort of color to it, and I really love the formula as well. It is not patchy in any way whatsoever. The way this blends out, stunning, and it's not over the top pigmented, so you can actually build this one up, and it's one of my favorite bronzers of all time. And although it's a little bit older, I still love this so much. And I really thought, I have so many bronzers that I like, but this is one of my all-time favorite ones. It's really beautiful. So let's apply it and let's bronze up my face. I do love this bronzer. I just love the way this blends out. I like the shade so much. It's just such a beautiful, smooth sort of application, and you can build this one up. It's just so stunning. I love how natural this looks. I honestly might pick up their new bronzing powder because I am not sure if it's the exact same product. I could only guess that this is the one that has a matte finish. Like, I would be really curious to know. Also, this is not their new bronzing powder. This is actually a blush by them. But we are not going to continue with this blush because I actually want to use a different brand. And also a blush that I can't stop reaching for, that I really love. And no, it's not going to be the Jane Iredale ones, because those might just be my top favorite blushes of all time. But I feel like you might be sick and tired of me raving about these Jane Iredale blushes. So I pulled out another blush that I truly love and that I use so much. I use this constantly. So, and this is the Lawless Make Me Blush, and this retails for $29. So here it is. I mean, you can tell by the look of this, I have used this quite a lot. This is the shade Vintage Love. They have a bunch of other shades. I've got all of their shades, but I feel like this is the shade that I just tend to reach for the most. It's like this beautiful, mauvey, dusty rose shade, and it's just so stunning. It's like a matte finish, but it's buildable, and it just looks amazing on my skin. I really love this one, especially this shade in particular. I also love the fact that this is not over the top pigmented. I feel like with the Saint blushes, they are a little bit more on the pigmented side, whereas this one has some medium pigmentation that you can easily build up. And again, this shade, it's stunning. It's beautiful. Wow, this blush always just gives me life. I love the shade, I love the formula, I love how you can build this one up. I just love how this looks on my skin. It's such a good blush, and Lawless really nailed it with this formula. So let's actually move on to the highlighter. And for the highlighter, I actually picked one out that I've never featured on my channel. I never talked about this brand, and to be honest, this is the only product that I have by the brand, but I love this powder. This highlighter is so stunning, and it's so beautiful, and I don't know why I never talked about this. So this is from the brand Illa Masca, and this is their Beyond powder, and this retails for $45. So on the website, as of right now, this powder is actually sold out. but it was on sale and it did retail for $36. Now, Illamasqua is actually a British brand, and this is also one of their only products that I have. So this highlighting powder actually does come in two different shades. Now I have both of the shades. I have the shade Days and I have the shade OMG. Now that shade Days really did not work out for me. I'm gonna give that one away because it is super pink. I thought it would be a little bit more bluish, but it's straight up pink, like a pink that I don't really like. It's like iridescent pink and just does not look flattering on my skin. But the shade OMG, oh my god. This one is so pretty. It's more like, almost like a peachy golden undertone, yet it kind of like just looks so beautiful. It's so reflective. It just does not enhance your texture. It just looks so good. Like, I love this. It's amazing. So let's actually put it on, and I'm going to show you what I mean because it's stunning. It's so out of this world beautiful. And I never thought that I would love it to this extent, but I do enjoy this so much. I mean, although this is more leaning like golden peach, I feel like it just works so beautiful on my skin. Like the reflect on this is so stunning without enhancing your texture too much. It's such a smooth powder, and I just feel like it almost looks like wet, you know? It does not look glittery, none of that. This is such a smooth highlighter, and you can definitely build this one up. You can also go a little bit more subtle if you don't apply as much as I did right now, but it just looks beautiful. It looks so skin-like, so fantastic. I really, really love this. So here is the shade Days. This one did not work for me at all. It looks so beautiful in the pan, but unfortunately it's pulling like super like baby pink on my skin. And if a highlighter is too pink, like if it's flashy pink, I actually don't really enjoy it. I thought this would be a little bit more icy, a little bit more like maybe blue in reflection, but it's so pink and it just does not work on me. So that's a little bit of a shame. So I might give this one to a friend. So this one is really where it's at in terms of what I like. So yeah, I could only recommend this. This is such a stunning highlighter. And I feel like not a lot of people are really talking about this. I'm not sure why, but it's perfection, okay? It's so stunning. All right, you guys, so my base is on, so let's actually move on to the eyes. So let's actually start off with my eyebrows. Now, you guys know what I would always use for my eyebrows, the Item Beauty Brow Chow. However, this product has been discontinued. I'm using what's left of mine very, very sparingly. So I'm on the hunt for a good brow pencil replacement for this amazing Item Beauty Brow Chow that is no longer available. And I found like the Rare Beauty pencil is amazing as well. And the one that we are going to be applying today is really, really good too. And that one is the Lawless Shape Up Soft Fill Brow Pencil, and this one retails for $21. This one is definitely a solid product. It actually fills in my brows quite well. This one has more of a narrow oval shape sort of pencil, whereas my Item Beauty one was a triangle shaped one. It's not too much of a biggie, you know. This also comes with a brush. So I'm gonna brush through my brows, fill them in, and then we're gonna move on to a brow gel. I mean, you can see this is definitely doing a great job when it comes to filling in. I feel like my brows are alive, and I completely forgot to mention what shade I have. I have this in the shade Oak. So I really do like this pencil, although it has a little bit of a different shape. It is great for filling in my brows, and it looks really, really stunning, to be honest with you. It's really nice. So let's actually move on to one of my favorite brow gels of all time, and that is no other than the Kosas Airbrow Tinted Gel, and this one retails for $22. So I'm not sure how many of those I have emptied. I just feel like I might need a new one soon again, because I think like this one, it's coming to its end. So I'm gonna comb through my brows with the gel, set them in place. There is not much to this technique, but it's just literally how I like my brows to look like. So let's actually continue with an eye primer. I do want to put down an eye primer before we are going to use some eyeshadows. So the one that I've been loving so much lately is the Kaleidos Tone Activator Eye Primer, and this retails for $10. Yeah, so this eye primer is just fantastic. I was on a lookout for a new eye primer because Lila B has also gone out of business, and I always use their concealer as an eye primer, and I just wanted to switch up my eye priming game. It's quite liquidy though, so just be careful not to open it up this way. Just turn it around when you open this up. It has a little bit of like a skin sort of peachy undertone without being too peachy. It's not going to interact with the eye color of your eyeshadow, but it's just super hydrating. It's kind of like gripping. Sometimes I do set this before I'm using an eyeshadow, and then sometimes I don't set it, you know. It kind of dries down on its own, but not too quickly, okay? So if you do want to set it with some loose powder, you can definitely do that. But I just love the way that this blends out. This also has like a squeeze nozzle, so you don't need that much product. I usually just do that much, and this is going to suffice me. Maybe for both of my eyes. Yeah, this might be enough for both of my eyes. This really does cancel out any kind of discoloration, and it's just a really nice base for your eyeshadow to go on afterwards. I really do enjoy this one. So let's apply it. I kind of just apply it with my fingers, to be honest, and I think that's like the best way. I mean, you could also just use a brush, but I'm happy to just do it with my fingers. But just look at how little product I've applied and what big difference this is actually making to my eyelids. Like, it's quite phenomenal how well this is covering, how well this is just priming your eye, and how beautiful and easy this is blending out. You know, it's not patchy, it's just so natural. I really do enjoy this. This is one of the best eye primers I have ever tried. It's also, it feels super hydrating too, you know. It's not stiff or anything. It's a very liquidy sort of texture. So let's actually lay down some beautiful eyeshadow. I kind of want to do a little bit more of a spring vibes kind of look, and I looked at all of my palettes, and then I was just like, you know what, I really want to show some love to this palette in particular. It is amazing, and it's still to this day one of my favorite eyeshadow palettes ever made. So this is the Sydney Grace Tiny Marvels palette in collaboration with Mel Thompson. So when this palette came out, I immediately reviewed this on my channel. I grabbed it when it was released. I just loved this palette so much, and I still love it so much. Now honestly, you can use whatever color story you want, no matter the season, but I just felt like this kind of like is a little bit like spring inspired. Now you could also go a little bit more of the darker route, and you could make this more of an autumn sort of palette, so it does not really matter what season it really is. But I just thought for today, let's actually use this palette. Now this palette was actually in collaboration with Mel Thompson. Now Mel Thompson unfortunately has passed away, which is so sad. Like, it's just a tragedy that this young stunning girl has left this world way too early. But you know, I feel like her spirit continues to live on through this palette. This palette is also still available. Now it was sold out, and you know, I don't think that Sydney Grace actually anticipated to bring it back. The demand for this palette was enormous, so it's still available on the website. So if you want to purchase this, and it's just absolutely stunning. I have to say, the color story here speaks to me so much. And when this was released, you know, I back in the day did watch a lot of Mel Thompson videos, and when she announced this palette and she swatched it and all, I was just, wow, this is so beautiful. It's so stunning. It's such a stunning, really kind of like spring vibes sort of color story. And I feel like I really want to do a look with this palette again. Now, I have used this quite a lot. I mean, I have so many eyeshadow palettes that, you know, you can't really tell what eyeshadow palette I use a lot. But this one is definitely one that I've always enjoyed. I really love it. And for today, I felt like I might be going into some shades that I don't reach for all the time. So maybe I'm going to use a little bit more of these peachy shades that I tend to not really like go for that much, and actually create a look with maybe this shade, maybe this shade, maybe this. We'll have to see where this is actually leading me, but Yeah, I just wanted to show this palette a little bit of love because it's just so worth it. It is such a beautiful formula. Like, I love Sydney Grace palettes. They are amazing, and I do have a couple of other Sydney Grace palettes, but I still feel like this might just be my favorite one that was ever released by Sydney Grace. So as a base, I'm gonna start off with this beautiful shade here, Tree Hopper. So the next shade that I kind of want to use a little bit is the shade Mantis, this beautiful, more pastel, minty green right here. So I'm going to apply this shade a little bit more to the inner section of my eye right here. So the next shade that I do want to use is the shade Flutterby. This is definitely more of like a pinky peach matte shade, and these blend out so nicely. So I'm just gonna continue blending this out around here. So I really do want to deepen up like the outer corner of my eye, and I think I'm gonna go in with the shade Death Moth. This is like a really sort of grungy, caramelly kind of brown shade. So I'm going to use a little bit of my Victoria Beckham Satin Kajal eyeliner in the shade Cocoa in my waterline. And then I'm going to continue with my lower lash line. So for my lower lash line, I think I'm going to keep it a little bit more towards the brown shades in here. So I'm going to go in with the shade Death Mod, and then I'm going to deepen it up with the shade Spider. So let's just use the shade Spider very sparingly because this might pull quite deep. So just use this a little bit towards, you know, the outer lower lash line. Okay, and I'm also gonna go into that shade Flutterby just to add a little bit of peach to my lower lash line, and I'm just gonna slightly blend it out with this shade. I just love this shimmer formula. A little bit like creamier to the touch. So I always like to pick them up with my finger and then blend it out with a brush. And I think I'm gonna go into that shade Meadow Hawk, which is just this beautiful, almost like rose gold shade. I'm gonna apply that pretty much all over my lid. And then I think I'm gonna just brighten it up with the shade Fire Buds. Just absolutely beautiful. I love this Sydney Grace formula in general. These also have just blended out like a dream. They're so easy to use, so easy to blend out. I really love them. So here is the shade Meadow Hawk, and I'm just gonna apply it pretty much in the center of my lid. So I feel like the last shade is really gonna speak for itself, and I'm gonna use this shade Firebuds, which is kind of like a really cool golden like green shimmer shade, and these look so foiled on your eyes. They're actually really mesmerizing. So I'm gonna use that in my inner corner. So we are going to continue with the shade Web, this one right here. I'm just going to use this to highlight my brow bone and also just a little bit my inner corner, just to make it pop a little bit more. I really do love the look that I came up with today. I think this is a fantastic palette. These colors are so over the top beautiful. They're just so stunning, and you can go so many ways with this palette as well. So that is the eye look for today. So let's actually continue with a mascara. And for today, I wanted to use the Sweet Cloud mascara, and this one retails for $30. Here is an empty one. I completely emptied this one, so I did pick up another one. This is fantastic. I just love this formula. This is actually a lengthening mascara. It's also giving you a little bit of volume, but it's also kind of separating. I just love the effect that this mascara gives me. It's completely smudge free, so you don't get any smudging. It's also not like a formula that is like flaky, or that is just, you know, like flaking off or getting dry throughout the day. This stays put until the end of my day, and I really love it. Now this has a silicone brush, and the brush is almost identical to my beloved Hourglass Unlocked mascara. That one is actually a tubing mascara, whereas this one is not a tubing mascara. So I'm gonna curl my lashes a little bit, apply it on one eye so you can see the difference. I mean, just look at that result. I feel like this mascara is just lifting my lashes so much, and it's also kind of like more of a defining and separating mascara. It's not clumpy. So let's do the other eye as well. Alright, so my eyes are done, so let's actually move on to the last product for today's video. Let's move on to a lip product. In terms of lip products, I actually sometimes do enjoy using a lip gloss. Other days I do enjoy using a lip liner with a lipstick. And then there are these days where I really love reaching for this product in particular, and I feel like there are a lot of days like that. And this is the Rare Beauty Lip Soufflé Matte Lip Cream, and this retails for $20. I really tend to reach for this product so much, and they recently had released these 3 brand new shades to their already existing shade range. So I picked the shade Elevate for today's video because it's like this muted brown peach, and I thought this might work so well with my eye look for today. It's a matte lip cream, so it's not really like a liquid lipstick that is going to dry down. This is like a whipped, like the name says it, a souffle sort of texture. It's really blurring on the lips as well. And if you do want to see these brand newly released shades, these 3 brand new shades, I would suggest to you guys to actually head over to one of my newer videos where I'm featuring all of these new releases in terms of lip products. I did feature it in that video, and I also featured it in my full face of Rare Beauty. So we are gonna be applying the shade Elevate, and I think it's gonna match my eye look quite well. This shade is actually described as a warm beige shade. Now I feel like it's just this beautiful, more like nude peach, like really light nude peach. It's a little bit more on the nude side, but I think it matches my eye look quite well, and I really have to say I'm so happy with today's makeup, with the outcome. These are products I definitely swear by and that I truly love. But alright you guys, please do let me know in the comment section down below if you have tried out any of the products that I was talking about in today's video, or if you are intrigued by something. If you do have an additional question, just drop me a comment down below. I'm always very happy to read them. And if you did enjoy today's video, why not give it a thumbs up? Also subscribe to the channel and ring the bell to get notified about my upcoming content. And until next time, please do take care. Thank you so much for watching. Bye bye.